Alright, we're here with Chris Edwards today at Scenic de la Viega, Santa Cruz, California. Chris has recently become sponsored by Trilogy Plastic, that's Latitude 64 Dynamic Discs and Westside Discs out of Finland. And Chris, why don't you tell us a little something about yourself?
Thank you, Ben. So my PDGA number is 24428. I've been playing for about 12 years, 7 of which have been in the open division. So I've paid my dues, so it feels really good to finally get noticed by some really good sponsors. So yeah, a little bit about myself, some of my past accolades. In 2008, I had the good fortune of playing in the World Disc Games that were here in Santa Cruz, and I took 5th in the disc golf, and then I got bronze medal for distance. I threw it 567 feet with, that was back with Pro Wraith 167s. And then I also got a bronze medal in the World Disc Games for overall team performance. And since then, I've had a lot of good, strong finishes in Open, still chasing that first victory in a sanctioned event, but I think it's going to come with my new gear here. So I'll move on to telling you guys about my bag. This is the luxury bag from Latitude. This thing is like the Cadillac of disc carrying machines right now. It's got great capacity. Right now I have 24 discs in here, which is more than I would use for a tournament round, but since I'm still new to my sponsor, I'm carrying a few extra discs to really figure out which ones I like the best. Another thing I really like about this bag is this big top compartment. It's got room for me to put my Camelback in here. So I've got my water up top, and this thing zips closed at the top, which makes it really convenient, and then runs this tube down the back so it's always right there, easy to drink out of. Stay hydrated, stay focused. Those things are important. So moving on to discs, I guess I'll start with my putters. So my putting putters, I started out putting with the Dagger. This was the first putting putter that was sent by Dave Feldberg, and he helped design this disc, and I can see why he likes it. I was using KC AVRs for years, and this just feels a lot like that disc, but with a deeper dish. So I feel like it just holds those lines that I put it on a little bit more. It doesn't drop out of the air. So I'm hitting less of the front rim and more chains. So this is a great putter. And since I got my allotment, I've been throwing this Mercy. And this Mercy has actually taken over as my main putter right now because I'm just not missing with it. So that's a good reason to use a putter, the Mercy. Moving on to my upshot putters, I've got this Judge. This is another Judge that was sent to me by Dave Feldberg. It's actually an ace disc. I got hole number 4 at Black Mouse in the Redwoods. And this thing is nice and beat in. I really like this disc for turnover shots for a sidearm. I like just turning it over and it just holds and pans and pans and pans, and it's just really accurate. I feel like I could place this disc like on a dime basically. And then, just leave that over here, I got a Fusion Judge, and this is going to be like my driving Judge, and this thing feels great. I've already thrown it like 350, just thrown it like 70-80%, like it's just real smooth, and I think I'm going to score a lot of birdies with this disc, so another good one to have in the bag. Now, one of my favorite discs is the TP Harp. This is just a great disc because I can throw it flat with authority, and I know that it's just going to hold straight and hyzer out for both backhands and for sidearms. Great disc off the tee and for in the wind. Moving on to my mids, I'm throwing this Suspect. It's very similar to that Harp, but classified as a mid instead of a putter, and I think that's a good distinction because even though they have the same numbers, 4303, the Suspect tends to just hold a little bit straighter and longer, and for a sidearm I can get it to bend a little bit more before it gets flat. So this just has a little bit more range than the Harp, but still very similar disc. I like these a lot. And then I've got a Truth. This is another Fusion disc, and this Truth is just great. This is the first mid-range that I picked up from Trilogy, and I'm so impressed with this disc. I can throw it on pretty much any line I want to, and it's gonna do all those things that I want it to do. And this is another ace disc. I got hole 3 here at De La Viega, beautiful ace. So I'm really stoked on this Truth. And then new one to the bag is this Claymore, my Opto Claymore, and this disc just feels great in my hand. And after throwing it a couple times, it goes really straight and really far, and it seems like it's going to be really useful for a lot of accuracy shots. So I recommend a Claymore if you haven't tried one. And then I've got my mace. I've got this nice Deco Dye mace. I think it's gold line, and this just also feels great. I love this plastic. It's nice and stable. I can really rip on this disc, and I know that it's going to come back and go left. So this is really useful mid-range for me. And then moving a little bit up in speed, I've got this nice Trident, the Gold Line Trident, and I know this disc is going to be a workhorse for me because it's just great for those sidearm shots, for those like 250 to under 300 shots. For backhand and for sidearm, I can throw this disc as hard as I want, flat, and I know that it's going to come out of it. So another great utility disc there in the Trident. And then I've got a Gold Line XXX. This disc is amazing. It's so overstable, kind of like a few of the other discs. You can probably tell I really like throwing things flat and hard, and this disc holds up to it. So for backhands, for sidearms, but also for thumbers, I know this disc just got the world record by one of my teammates, Jason, with a tomahawk. So he has the world record for furthest overhand shot. And it's no surprise that it came with this disc. It just holds these lines in the air, and it's just huge. So yeah, another great disc to have in the bag. And then I've got a Felon. Gotta love the Benjamin stamp. Dollar bills are awesome. Hopefully this disc will help me win a lot of Benjamins. And I use this disc mostly for sidearms. It feels great. I used to throw the Firebird a lot, and I like the Star Firebirds. And to me, this is exactly what I was looking for. Just lay into it sidearm, it's gonna go 300 to 350. Backhand, probably use it for a similar distance. And yeah, just another disc I can rip into flat, and it's gonna do what I want it to do. Now moving up to some more fairway drivers. The River was the first fairway driver I got from Dave Felberg. I got a Gold Line from him, which I was loving, and now I'm trying out this Moonshine one, and it also feels good. I think I'm gonna want to get a Gold Line one in my bag, but for now, this Moonshine one is great. I just love the glide on this disc. Glide 7 really is a game changer. Just lets you throw lines that are just gonna develop. You can just smash a line and let it get out in the air, stand up, work for you. And I love a disc that, you know, does the work for you. Just hit your line, trust it to go do its thing. So this is another great workhorse disc. And then I've got the St. Pro, also in Moonshine. I was throwing a Gold Line St. Pro and was having a lot of success with it, very controllable. So it's probably going to take me a little time to beat this one in to where it was doing what that Gold Line was doing. But I like that in a disc, that I'm going to have to take a long time to beat it in. It means the disc has a lot of life in it. So looking forward to a long life and a lot of birdies with this one as well. And then I've got this Escape, which might be the furthest flying disc in my bag, because kind of like the River, this just has so much glide, and this disc just develops. When you lay it out on a hyzer, it just stands up, tries to get flat, and if you threw it right, it gets that little bit of a late turn, and then it comes out at the end. And I recently parked hole 5 at the Oaks course in Monterey, which is almost like a 600-foot downhill hole. I put this thing right next to it, so I was really impressed, and now I don't want to take it out of the bag. Even though there's a lot of similar discs to this in the Trilogy lineup, I think I'm going to use the Escape. Now moving on to some of my high-speed drivers. I'm using the Sword. The Sword is really nice. Feels kind of like a flippy destroyer for me. So I can throw it out there with a little bit of hyzer, and I know it's gonna either pop up and get flat or do a little bit of a turn for me. And that's really useful in some scenarios. throwing this disc 350 to 420, maybe 450. And then I've got my Giant. And this is probably my favorite disc in the bag right now. The Giant holds up to all the power that I can put into it. I can rip this disc on anhyzers and it'll just go straight, stabilize, fight out of it. I can rip this on big hyzers with no concern of it flipping up and holding too long. This is just a great, meaty, just a, like, overstable destroyer is kind of what it reminds me of. Like Excalibur, Boss, Destroyer, it's kind of in the range of all those discs. Can't say enough about it. Great disc. And then I've got my World. And this disc just goes so far. I can just hammer on it flat and it just carries and then hooks up at the end. Very, very useful, especially for those par 4s. So I'm going to be using this one a lot. And then I've got a couple utility discs on the side here. I've got an Enforcer. This is a great disc for the wind, very overstable, like it for sidearms as well. Going to be useful in those windy days. And then I've got a Stiletto, same kind of disc, a little bit faster, also very overstable, good for sidearms and backhands in the wind. And I've also got this Fury, because I gotta have something flippy. It's easy to throw in the bag, good for rollers, things like that. That's pretty much my in the bag, but I've also got up here, oops, avalanche. I got 3 more because I'm trying out these discs and there's just so many good ones to choose from. So I've got this TP King. It's got that heartbeat that Dave Feldberg likes to talk about. You can hear it pop top. And this thing just feels like it's gonna go amazingly far. So I'm looking forward to working this thing in, seeing what it'll do. And then I've also got a Boatman in here, which is speed 11, which I don't really have in the bag. So it's nice to try to work in one of those in-between speeds. And then last but not least, I've got this Striker, which just feels like a great disc. It's got a very smooth profile, great consistency in this gold line plastic. I'm looking forward to trying this disc out too. So that is pretty much my in the bag. I've also got nice Santa Cruz Mini from our local guys here at De La Viega. Thank you, Mario. And then I got my little pin right here from Caminando, one of my favorite DJs. He was nice enough to sponsor me a little swag for my bag. So there it is, my in the bag. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for shooting it, Ben. And thanks to my sponsors, Latitude 64, Westside Discs, and Dynamic Discs.
All right, let's see you throw some of these.
All right, let's do it. All right, I'm gonna start off by throwing my Fusion Suspect. I'm gonna try a sidearm with my Enforcer. See if I can get a good lefty rip with my Boatman. See if I can get one hyzer out with my Giant.